Hello guys, I welcome you to today's edition of our learning tutorial. Today we're going to learn how to draft this beautiful style you see on our screen here. This is a Victorian corset with an exaggerated trendy puffed sleeve and then also an extension on the waistline like a gore. And so this is what we're going to do today. If you want to learn how to do this from A to Z, then don't go nowhere. Stick and say, let's learn this. Okay, so what next we are going to do is the gore. And so this is how we do it. You would first have to measure the distance between the starting point and the end point. That is exactly where you want to fix that. We want it to start from the middle here and want it to go all the way up. And then it should also come down towards it should also come down to this point, meaning it starts from here, then it goes up, then it descends so it touches the midpoint. It's not always the case that you should make it end here, but then that is how we're doing ours right now. And so once we have this, we would measure the distance. So measuring the distance, I get 13 inches. But then in actual fact, from here to here gives us like 12 inches, but because of the curve. And so we'll go for, this is something like a paper we are using to practice. And so we'll take 12 inches. And then you want to be able to put this here, where there wouldn't be any space here or there. And so what you want to do is, you want to scoop in between. So you keep on scooping till you fix this, and this edge touches here, and the back also touches here. So all that you'll be doing is to scoop in like this. But they shouldn't make it so big, so much so that this part would be able to touch here and that will touch there as well. So we are going to scoop it a bit and come, right? So we'll just be trying as we go ahead. So we're going to scoop inward. So because we are starting, we didn't want to make it so deep for the start. And we wouldn't want to also start from the edge and to the edge as well. But they want to leave a bit of space. So that I'm scooping in about 4 inches. Okay, so this is 4 inches. I'll go ahead and cut this, and I'll go and place it in, and then see if there will be spaces in between them. That. Okay, so this is what I scooped. Once the back area, that is from this side, it lies very flat as on the dress, as you see from the top here, right? But then when this touches here, touches the center front, you can see a space created at this point. And so what I'll do is that it means the scooping is too deep here, or then the scooping is too shallow at the hip line, at the side seam. And so what I'll do would be first to straighten this a bit so that it will still be able to lie flat, because without this, if this is shifted away a bit like this, it means this will be able to lie flat. And so that's what we are going to do right now. We are going to flatten this scoop and make it straight, and then we'll come and fix it back, and then we'll see. Okay, and so we're cutting this out to make it a bit flatter. We're taking this off. So this is the back and this is the front. So the back is very steep, but then as it's coming a bit shallow. So we take this to the dummy again. Okay, so this is it. When I come to fix this, I see that the space which was created here is still there, but this time it has reduced, meaning where I was flattening the front area was correct. And so I'll go ahead and flatten it a bit more so that this whole part will be able to lie straight. Doing that too, I'm also mindful of the fact that the side here is standing the way I want it to stand. If it's not the way you want it, probably you want it to slow down a bit, like you want it to go down a little bit like this. If you want it like this, you should be gauging this whilst you do the turning. You understand? You should be gauging how you want it. But then mine, I want it to stand like this. It's almost like 90 degrees to the side. That's how I'm seeing it right now. And so I'll go and do this and flatten this part the more. So I'll start flattening from where I see the hole being a little bigger. So I'll start flattening it from there all the way forward, and then I'll come back. So this was where I found it to be very hollow, and so I'm flattening it a bit. So I've flattened it to this side. Make sure that you don't do it too much so that it wouldn't also go overboard. So you do it bit by bit so you are very sure you like the shape. And so this is what we have now. Let's take it to Adam. And so with this, the space is reduced to very, very like almost like 1/8 of an inch, which is negligible. And so we are going to do this. We are going to use this. Once we are done with this, the shape you want to give the other side, it all depends on you. Whether you want to make it straight, you want to make it flat, you want to make it rounded, it all depends on you. So we are going to get this. It's the inner shape which will be attached to the dress. That is what is most important. Once we are done with this, we'll go ahead and then we'll shape the side. That is depending on how you want it to be. Okay, so with this, as I was saying, you can have different shapes for the outer part. I have decided to make mine squared. And so let's see. I want to make it like um, 3 inches. That is at where it's very big. Okay, let me do it 3.5. Okay, so with this, we are going to use the same thing to cut violin and then to cut our fabric as well. Action. Okay, so this is the normal violin. It's not very hard. This is the medium one we used earlier. And so we're just tracing this shape. So once I'm done with this, we're going to cut it. We'll cut lining and we'll also cut the self. In this instance, you can as well use the same fabric that you're using for the self as lining so that when it's turned or someone sees from beneath, it wouldn't show any other contrast fabric. Unless, of course, you want to use that for a design. In order to make the gore a bit heavier, what we are doing is that we are using this wording to also pad the good side of the fabric that will be coming to the top. And so we are padding it with this, and then we are stiffening it with our violin as well. And so you can feel the texture of the violin and then the wording as well. And so we'll use both. And so we are going to cut the wording into the same size. Bear in mind that I've also left some allowance on the edges. That is going to serve as our seam allowance because we are going to sew exactly on this line. We are going to sew exactly on this line. And then we'll leave some allowance through here for us to be able to join it to the side of the dress easily. And so that's what we are going to do. So we add allowance on the side as well. So after we are done with this, we want to add our seam allowances to it. And so I do 1/4 of an inch. Okay, so our 1/4 inch is added to all the parts. And what you're going to do right now would be to place this on the self. But then before we do that, this is the wording we've attached to the self. Before we do that, we are supposed to fix bones. And it is the bones that is going to make it stand the more. And so we're going to fix bones. In this instance, I'll fix like 4 bones, one here, another here. And then I'll fix one on the edge as well. It shouldn't be that close to this, but then it should be somewhere here. So what you do when it comes to fixing our bones, we said it earlier, that we measure the distance where you want to fix the bone, and then you take some inches off. And so this one, for instance, we are getting 12 inches, but we're going to make it 11 inches. We're going to cut a bone of 11 inches. So this is where we are fixing our first bone. Okay, so we are fixing our bones. So this is the first bone. We are fixing all the bones. And so right now, I'm leaving some space at the top here because I want to sew all around it. When I sew to this point, let's see what happens. Okay, because I want the edge here to be very crispy when we turn it inside out, I'll sew till I get to this point. Left with just about one to get to the edge where I'll be turning to the left. And I'll pause and then lift my presser foot, put another thread down so that it touches the needle under it. Then I put the needle and then I put the presser foot back on. So after I've put the presser foot back on, I'll move just one step. And so just one step and we are done. After that, we'll bring back the thread that was outside and bring the two threads inward like this. And then we'll continue our stitching. We'll do repeat same at all the points where we want to have it very crispy. So we'll go and then iron. And with this part, you can use blind hem to finish this line. And so once we're done with this, we've hemmed the edge. You can as well do a top stitching. It depends on you. Once we are done with that, we can get off our threads. We're going to fix this to the side as we've marked here. Because all the sides are well finished, all we're going to do is to place it here, do a stitching on it, but then it should be very, very thin. It should be to the edge so that there won't be so much allowance left. And so we're going to sew.
be gore.
Okay, very well. So this is it. After fixing the gore on the side, this is what we see. Very, very neat. When you look even beneath, you won't see any extra unfinished seams here. No, it's all finished throughout. And then it lies very flat. It's very, very stiff, as you can see from this side. And so this is our final work. Ah, thanks so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Also, click on the notification bell, comment, share anything you want to share with us. Give us your experience. So this is the final outcome. I bet you, very, very beautiful, very classy. And so this is a 3-in-1 piece. We have our Victorian corset. We have our trendy, exaggerated sleeve, more like a parachute. And then we have our side gore, also well decorated, very stiff, well placed, and everything is right intact. So that is it. Thanks.